Hello, if you can hear me, can you please put a comment here? Say hello. Nice. I hope you can hear me. Cool. Let's give a couple of minutes so that people can join. Hey Simon. Hey Tulsi. Hey Ajay. Nice seeing you all. Okay, cool. So I think we can start. And the topic of our today's session is Java relevant in 2023? Right? Why we are talking about this topic? Recently, a couple of weeks ago, somebody asked me on Twitter, is Java relevant today? I was writing a bunch of blog posts on Java and Spring Boot, and somebody asked, is Java relevant today? It's a very valid question, right? Let's imagine somebody just finished their college and they want to pursue their career as a software developer, and they obviously look for what are the job opportunities we have currently, which language is more popular, where we can spend our time learning, which we can get job quickly, right? Also, suppose you are already working as a software developer and you want to expand your knowledge and you want to invest time in something that has bright future, obviously, right? So this is a very valid question, and obviously that's something we can discuss now. And let me share a slide I have prepared. So if you can see my screen, I hope, please comment if you can see my presentation. So here we have a presentation. So if you can see, please comment here. Cool. Okay, now let us talk through slides. I'm not much of a uh, PowerPoint presenter, but I feel like it is better to have something we can see and talk over it. So this is what we are going to discuss today. And as I said, the reason being many people want to know, is there a bright future for Java? Is it worth investing time learning Java? And now, when we take a step back and think about why people are asking, is it relevant in 2023? That means like they might have heard that, okay, Java is dead, Java is legacy, or something like that. That's why they are curious to know whether still Java is alive, or is it being used in companies. So that's why they want to learn about it, right? So when we think about why people are asking that question, especially, I am very fascinating about this particular subject because a couple of years ago I was talking to one of the person who is also a software developer but has only 1 year of experience. But he's always like, "Oh my God, I don't want to use Java, or I always want to use something else. I will do anything else but coding in Java, etc., etc., etc." But I was like, okay, you have hardly 1 year of experience, and I was okay. I asked that person like, did you program in Java? No, hardly. He did something in his college, very minor programming task, and then he was saying that. Then I asked, dude, you haven't programmed in Java much, but why you have such a strong opinion saying that Java is not good or something. Then he starts saying, it's obvious. Everyone says it is dead in on the internet. So he has no idea. He has no actual programming experience with Java. But because he's keep hearing Java is dead and this and that, he kind of thinking that might be true, and he's not even taking a time to explore. Is it really that bad, or is it good? No, he's just believing what he is hearing on the internet. That a little bit bothers me. Like you should not come to the conclusion just because somebody is saying something. And why people are saying that thing? Obviously, people have different opinions, right? Not everyone should love all the programming languages, and some people have strong opinions. Somebody loves Java, somebody likes other languages like Go, Python, JavaScript, whatever. It's fine. It is fine. Not everyone needs to love every programming language, and it is absolutely okay to have different opinions. But sometimes some people share their strong opinions without backing with some data or very good reasons. So fine, we'll go through it. Why people, some people don't like Java, and is it really valid points or not? We'll go through it now. I hope you have all seen at some point of time this joke, like, okay, in order to play Joker role, he has to go through and code Java for 2 months. And see, I am a really big fan of Java, but still I love these memes and I laugh at these jokes. We don't need to get offended for every silly thing, right? We can love and then we can enjoy and all these funny things, and we don't need to get offended if your favorite language is being bashed or criticized. We can just laugh it out and then move on. We don't need to be strict about, no, how dare you to say my favorite language is bad. Right? We can just laugh it out. And it is not just on Java actually. Like if you are on the Reddit or somewhere, you can see the criticism on every language. And just looking at this image, you can figure it out what this is about, right? If r not equals to nil, written nil or r, anybody with a little bit of exposure to Go language knows that this is a joke on Go language. And on the right side, somebody posted on Reddit saying that I fucking hate Node.js and blah 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 blah. So the point I'm trying to make here is every language has its strength and also has its quirks. So there are problems with every language. No language is perfect, right? When somebody start using it, some things are really good, and then the more you start using it, you will feel there are not so great things, and obviously people express their opinions. But the point is, every language has its strengths and every language has its drawbacks. And I occasionally I share my own feelings, and when I start using Go language, right, to my eyes, it is very very verbose. Like some people say, "Oh, Java is so verbose. I don't like it. That's why I program in Go." On the other hand, I was like, "Dude, Golang is the most verbose thing I have ever seen. Like, if you write a function that has 25 lines, among them 15 lines are like error checks. And you were saying Java is verbose. So I go ahead and put a rant on saying this. And also, a while ago, I was trying out Python, and I thought of, okay, just in Java world, there is only two things, like either you use Maven build tool or Gradle, right? But when you go to Python and start of using some packaging or tools, there are like V environment, Py environment, PyEnv, virtual env wrapper, pipenv, a whole bunch of things. Like I was like, what the hell? There shouldn't be too many things. Like, and also at the first glance, when I first read about Python, the scope you define based on the indentation, I was like, who designed like that, right? But obviously if you just come across something brand new, you will kind of get a little bit uncomfortable, but if you get past through that, it is fine. It is not that bad. You just have to adapt to it, and then these are fine. So Yeah, all the language has their own things. It is not like one language is perfect or other things are bad. And the creator of C++, Bijan, he he put it perfectly well. There are only two kinds of languages: the ones people complain about and the ones that nobody uses. This fits very very aptly, right? And when people start using, and especially like a general purpose languages like Java, Go, Python, any language, and they grow addressing some concerns of a particular domain, and then there are strong points in each of those areas. Like if you take Python, it is a general purpose language. You can do a lot of things, like you can build web applications, you can build machine learning things and all. But there is no one language that can do all of them equally well, right? Suppose today, if you think of building something based on machine learning language, machine learning stuff, I would strongly recommend to look into Python, because the Python ecosystem has a better tooling and library support than Java. Right? So it is not like there is one language that is perfect and cater everything. In the same way, when you think of building something on server side, like enterprise applications, talking to databases, talking to message brokers, etc., right? I strongly believe Java is a very, very good language. It has amazing tools and IDEs, library support. It is a fantastic language to use. That is one of the reasons still it is so popular. And you might have heard that Java is dead. In 2010, I first heard some people saying, okay, Java is dead. Now everyone want to move to Scala. And then again, I heard Java is dead in 2015 or so. And back then, everyone want to move from Java to Go. And then again, I start hearing Java is dead in 2020 or 22. Then I don't know, maybe Rust. So this is a wave of people saying Java is dead, but it's not dead actually. It is growing rapidly, yeah, more than ever. Okay, so when you see online like people sharing their opinions on Java, I feel like some people share their opinion on Java thinking it is same as it was back in 10 years ago or 15 years ago. Some people keep saying we heard Java is only used in legacy projects. It is wrong. It is completely wrong. Still, I see Java is being used not only in startups, also in large enterprises, not only in maintenance projects. So many new applications they are building in Java. But most of the times you keep hearing like Java is not a preferred language for startups. Mostly they go for Node.js or Go or something like that. But that is not my experience. In fact, I see many people like they prefer Java because of the ecosystem and the talent availability and for various other reasons. So when you hear Java is only used in legacy projects, this is not really true, and ground reality is quite different. And also there is another joke, like you might heard what is the longest class name in Java, and then obviously some class name from Spring Framework will come up, and then people say, oh my god, this is why I don't like Java. You need to write all these factories and bean factories and all these things. I wouldn't say it is completely wrong. This is actually one of the real class name in Spring Framework. But the thing is, this is not what I write as an application developer. This is a library class name, and all this has whatever purpose they serve. But I don't need to write any of these bean factories or anything like that. Okay, so basically, these are all taken care by the frameworks and provide me simplistic programming model. And I have been building Java-based applications for the last 16 years, and in the last 10 plus years, I don't even remember me creating a class name which contains factory. No, I don't do that. The frameworks take care of it, providing me a simpler programming model. So this is kind of funny, but I don't write all these complex things. Frameworks take care of it. And another comparison, when we compare multiple languages, this is another thing that people keep saying, that, oh, look at it, I can write my hello world program in just one line in my favorite language, be it JavaScript, be it Python, or any other language. Whereas in Java, you need to put all these bunch of static, void, main, and whole things here. Then I was wondering, like, are you really building a hello world application for your client? I don't think so. Anybody is building hello world clients applications for clients. So you cannot simply judge a language's strength based on how easily you can write a hello world program. Yeah. So here, here is an amazing person, and I see him tweeting this amazing thread on Twitter, and you can go through it. I can share the presentation later. But what he's simply saying, that you cannot simply judge a programming language, its strength, based on your 1 hour experience or even 1 day experience. Some languages are very easy to get started, and you feel like, oh my God, this is so easy. It is not so difficult. I can simply get going with, and then I can use it right away. But the thing is, some technologies takes time. You need to invest your efforts to learn it, master it, and then the returns are equally well, right? And some technologies like that are easy to get going, but once you reach to a point you want to scale up your application, or your application is getting bigger and bigger, it is not that easy to keep it clean. It will get messy. So just how easy it is to write a hello world program should never be the criteria to choose a language. You need to think more about how easy it is to scale up if you are having a bigger team, if it is going to scale up a little bit more to cater wider audience. So just don't decide the language strength based on how well easily you can write a hello world program. Okay. And one more thing, like, when people say Java is dead or Java is complex, I feel like this is what I observed in the wild. Some people start using Java back in 2000s, early 2000s, and then it was not so great, to be honest. There was EJBs, and then you need to create a remote interface, local interface, and then a bunch of EJB jar XMLs, and it was kind of a it was not definitely not simple or easy or anything like that. It was super complex. And then people left to other languages like Ruby or Python or other languages which are much simpler than Java back in the day. But then Java is not the same thing what it is today back in 2000s, right? It evolved a lot. And then back in early 2000s, that time frame, Java used to release every new version like once in 2 years or 3 years. But that got changed. Now we have every 6 months release cycles. Like uh, JVM developers, Java platform developers, they introduce some new features and they release it as a preview feature. And then people have some time to play with it and then provide the feedback, and then they improve upon it, and then they become core features of the platform in the next release. So you don't have to do these big bang releases or have a big migration projects or anything like that. You can gradually increase your next version, and it is getting better and better. And on top of it, since Java 8, Java programming language really improving quite a lot. Like Java 8 introduces this lambdas and stream support. That changes the game. Like so much of code gets simplified by using streams and then using lambdas. You don't need to create complex inner classes or anything like that. It is much simpler using lambdas. And then one of the complaint about Java is, oh my God, you need to create all these getters, setters, and all whole things. Now with records, you don't need to do all that. If you are creating a simple DTO, you can simply create a record, and you don't need to create all that boilerplate. Again, text blocks. If you are writing multiple lines of text, you don't need to do this string concatenation anymore. Text blocks is really a good feature, and also more and more features like pattern matching. And in the recent version, there is a upcoming version of Java which includes virtual thread support, and it is going to change the game. Like earlier, whatever we have, they are called platform threads, which takes each threads take approximately 1 MB of memory. Now it is so much cheaper to create these virtual threads, and it is going to be a game changer. And again, in some areas, Java is not really that strong. For example, in serverless, like most of the times people go for other alternatives, even though they are building their main applications using Java. When it comes to serverless, they choose like Go or Node.js or Python, something like that, because JVM you need to boot it up and then it takes time. So it was not that strong. But with the recent AWS Lambda snapshot, it becomes quite performant. Like it starts even within milliseconds. And also there is another project that is coming up like a crack. It is also like you boot up and then take a snapshot out of it, and then you can restore at later point of time with instant startup. So I haven't played with this myself, but I see like these are going to be really good options when you consider using Java for your serverless workloads also. And another thing we need to remember, as I said, Java is not a toy language. Like you cannot judge it based on how easily you can create a hello world program. Java is not designed for that. Java is designed to tackle enterprise challenges. Like you want to build an application that is most likely going to be used for decades. So you are going to invest some time. You need to learn, and you need to invest some time mastering it, and then you will get the same amount of results also. It is not something that is kind of a decide based on how easily you can create a hello world program. And backward compatibility, this is one of the most reason why Java is still is a top preferred language in the enterprises. Imagine like you are building an application, personal application, and today you picked up, say, Python or Scala or something like that, and then you want to upgrade, and that language is broken, but it's fine because it's a small application and personal application, that is okay. But if you whenever you try to upgrade it and it is keep broken for every migration, it is kind of irritating, right? But if it is a personal application, that is fine. But imagine being an organization, a bigger organization, where you are building a software that possibly want to be used in decades, and every migration, if it breaks, that is not something corporates want to. Not even corporates, any language, any company, even it's a startup or a big corporate, you don't want to use something that is going to be break for every migration, right? So the Java, when it comes to Java backward compatibility, I don't think any language can beat that. Java is super backward compatible, and it also supports multiple paradigms, right? You want to build your application following object oriented principles, of course you can do it. And I would say Java is not really pure functional language, but you have enough of functional programming constructs that you can follow functional programming paradigm while building your application. And in the recent times, you can see a trend of data oriented programming. Java with the newer language features, it also supports that model. Okay, and as I said, innovate but don't disrupt. Some people complain about Java, saying that it is not innovating just like other languages. As I said, Java is not a toy language where people can just fiddle with, okay, let's add this feature and see how it performs. and if it is not good, we can take it out. No, it is not how Java works. Okay, so there are other JVM based languages like Scala, Kotlin, and others, and Java adopts looking at how they are performing in other JVM based languages, or even it inspires from other languages, and only adopts those which are really valuable, and it is not just fancy features but provides real business value. Only those features will get adopted into the Java language. So the motto is here: innovate, even if it is a little bit slower, that is fine, but don't disturb the existing ecosystem. Just imagine today Java introduced a new feature that's going to break some existing Java language features, and there are millions of applications running, and if it is going to disrupt any of the existing functionality, they cannot upgrade, and they can't do anything about it. And that's why Java is not something that you just like that add some features and remove that feature later if you feel it is not bad, adding any value. So yes, I would say Java is innovating enough to be stable and also adding more value gradually. I wouldn't say it is cutting edge stuff. I wouldn't say it is stagnated. It is innovating just enough that is good for most of the business. And in any language, right, there are some powerhouses. If you take Java, there are many frameworks that can help you to build applications faster, but these are the bigger ones like Spring Boot, Micronaut, and Quarkus. And if you take Python, right, you have Django, you have Fast API, Flask. So if you take any language, there are a few frameworks and libraries that can empower you to build applications much faster. And in Java, you have these Spring, Quarkus, and Micronaut, where many of the common application needs are already taken care. Like for example, if you are building an application, an enterprise application, and there are some common requirements, right? Any non-trivial application will have some application level configuration, be it database configurations or some application level configuration or Kafka or whatever. So here, using any of these frameworks, you can simply configure them, and you don't need to write that logic like, okay, read from that file and then parse it and then read that and then inject all these beans. That is already taken care. And also logging. Logging is absolutely one of the feature that you definitely need when you are building a production grade application, right? So here, again, that is taken care. If you use any of these frameworks, already logging support is taken care. You just need to configure. You want to write it to file, or you want to write it to console. That's all simply a configuration. So like that, there are many such aspects which really helps you to build the application faster. You don't need to reinvent all the things again and again. You don't need to start from scratch. And one of the reason, uh, even though despite many people still keep saying that Java is dead, Java is legacy, whatever, why Java is still one of the top three, always one of the top three most used languages is its rich ecosystem. Like there are two good build tools. If you want to just use something that always works fine, you can go with Maven. If your application needs some complex logic, you can go with Gradle. Gradle supports all crazy things that you want to do. And if you want to use some ORM, obviously there is a JPA Hibernate. And if you don't like ORMs, you can use this fantastic Juke library. And then there is test containers, which really helps you to test your application with whatever real services you want. And you want to build some full stack application, you can use Hilla or Vaadin. And there is SDKman, which supports installing various versions of Java or build tools. So there is a huge ecosystem where whatever the feature you want to implement, just think of, is there a library for doing it? There is a good chance that a library already exists in Java. I mean, the same is case for even other languages as well. Nowadays, it's not just about the language. Whether you pick one language or other is also really depends on how the ecosystem is, how rich your ecosystem is. So when it comes to that, Java has absolutely rich ecosystem. And more than everything else, right? Why Java, despite people saying it is dead or it is legacy, whatever, why still, if you think, okay, let us go and see programming language index. There is some programming language ranking, right? I was seeing some popularity index, and it seems JavaScript is the first, and then Python, and then Java. So if it is bad, why still people are using it, right? There must be a reason for it. In my opinion, that is because of the Java community. Of course, you can say every programming language has a community, and what is so special about Java community, right? So, in my view, the special thing about Java community is its adopting nature. I mean, I haven't been into some other communities that much, but I see few communities that are not that beginner friendly or welcoming. Like they are very kind of okay, you should adapt to our mindset. You should build applications using pure functional language, a pure functional construct, or whatever their thoughts of being correct. But here in Java community, it is more welcoming. Like okay, different people have different opinions and different ways of building things, and it is like okay, you want to use OOP, fine, you can use OOP. You want to build using functional approaches based, you can follow along. And it is kind of a welcoming, and there is a huge uh, people, number of people writing about Java, and just whatever you want, just it's a Google search away. There are so many blogs, top rated blogs, where you can find every piece of information that you want. And there are so many people that are eager to help you if you're stuck anywhere. So because of all these reasons, in my opinion, it is that is the reason why Java is still so relevant, and and it is going to be relevant. Because just think about, if you are a CEO and you want to build an application, and most likely you want to build something that's going to be used for decades, and what do you want to use, right? If I want to build a software that I want to use people for many years, I would choose something that's going to be stable enough, that's going to be innovating enough, and it has a rich ecosystem. These are the aspects that I depend on. So if you consider any of these aspects, Java fits very right in this criteria. So these are the reasons I would say Java is still relevant, and I would say, just you read something on the internet, don't take it as a fact, because people sometimes express their feelings in a strong way. For example, uh, a couple of years ago or so, I think Dino is released, and people start saying that, oh God, now Node is dead. You don't need Node anymore. That's not the case. Dino is fine. Node is also fine. Both are living. They are not dead, and people are using whatever they like. And then sometime back, I think there is VS Code REST client, some plugin is released, and some over enthusiasts go on YouTube or whatever and say Postman is dead. Now you don't need Postman. Not, that is not the case. There are so many people still happily using Postman, and people happily using VS Code's REST client. So it is not like if something came up, maybe a different language, a different framework, it doesn't mean the other things has to die. Okay, so these are kind of tactics that people want to make you watch their video or read their blog. That's why maybe they use this language like that is dead, this is dead. But I don't think any new thing is going to kill other established thing that easily. Okay, so what I would suggest, if anyone really think is Java relevant, listen to all of those opinions. Maybe they are right, maybe they are wrong. Listen to what they have to say, and then do your own assessment. Like, is it really true? Is really Java that bad? If somebody says Java is that bad, try it out by yourself. Don't just take anybody's opinion for a fact. I say go is verbose. Don't take it my opinion as a fact. You try Go language and then see is really Go that verbose. It may be wrong. I may be wrong. So what I would recommend you, listen to everybody's opinion, but don't take it as a fact. Try it yourself and then see is it really that bad. Okay. So I have been saying Java is good and all that, but you can say, okay, you are talking Java is not that bad, Java is well, and Java is great. Uh, just show me how good Java is. Some people are saying that, okay, you need to create all these factories and all these things, right? Absolutely. If I hear somebody saying that so and so great things about a language, I would say, okay, just show me how good it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a simple Spring Boot application, and then show how a modern Java application building looks like. And you can see, do I need to create abstract whatever those factory long classes? Do I need to create all of these? Or it is going to be like a 2 day process of setting up a Java project? So let us see how um, how the modern Java application development looks like. Okay. So before demonstrating that, I would just like to take a look at the comments, or I can quickly show a demo of building an application, and then I can address the comments here. So here I'm going to create a new project, and I hope you can see my IDE. So I'm going to simply create a simple Spring Boot application, and I don't want to take risks. That's why I'm choosing Mahan. And let me change it to, okay, I'm using Java 17. Okay, it is already there. Okay, I just want to build a simple web application. I want to talk to a database, and I want to use Flyway. Kind of, I just want to build something that looks like how you do it in production grade application. And I want to use Postgres database. And of course, I want to have some metrics and stuff. So ID is not visible. Okay. Okay. 1 second. I'll try to see. Present screen. Okay. Give me a second. I'll just fix this and then. Okay. 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 Let me share my screen again. It is entire screen window. Okay. So I hope now you can see my IntelliJ idea. Can you see IntelliJ idea? Okay. Okay, cool. So, okay, I am going to I'm going to change the theme. I hope in presentation it doesn't look, black screen doesn't look so great. So here I just created a simple Spring Boot application, and I have selected actuator, and I have selected Spring Data API. I want to build something that talks to a database, and then I want to build a simple REST API. Okay. So, oh, I forgot to select the test containers. I remember how to add the dependencies. Okay. And now I can go and create a simple JPA entity. Let's call it as a person, and it's an entity. And I'm going to use the table name as persons and long ID. And this is going to be my primary key, and it's going to be a generated value of identity strategy. Okay. And I have another property called name. So I have an entity, and let me create a person repository. It's an interface, and that extends APA repository. Okay, and let me create a person controller. It's a controller, REST controller. String get all, and I'm going to inject my person repository here. It's a get mapping of slash API slash persons. Okay, fine. I have a controller, I have a repository that talks to database, but I don't have my database up and running. But what I can do here, I can create my test application. This whatever the feature I am going to demonstrate now is a test containers feature. Here I would say test configuration, and I don't need that. And also we have this main, and let me define a bean and with a service connection, and it's a Postgres. Okay, I need to add Postgres dependency. So here I'm using test containers PostgreSQL dependency, so that I can use it to start automatically a Postgres instance, so that I don't have to install Postgres run externally. Postgres, I think it is. Why? Let me let me refresh. Okay. Why is that? I can quickly take a look at. So here, okay. So here I am defining a bean of type Postgres container, which will automatically spin up a Postgres container and automatically configure my application to talk to this Postgres database. So now I can start this with like this, and here we have Spring Boot demo application, and I use this test application. So now this is we have, and let me create a simple flyway migration script. uh, v1 underscore and SQL, and I would like to create a table persons ID, big serial primary key, and then name varchar. I think that's it. Let's keep it that simple. Mm, let's insert into persons of name values Siva. Who else? Sam. Okay. So we have this flyway migration here. Now I can start my application simply by running this, which will automatically start the database, and then my application will be configured to use it and could not resolve domain type. Hmm, type of interface. This is something I never seen earlier. See demos. Ah, terrible. Person long. Okay, my bad. How it is doing? Oh my god, what I'm doing. Okay, the application is started. It automatically started a Postgres database, and then you can see log 8080 API persons. We can see the data. So what do we have now? I think it took around 5 to 10 minutes. I'm able to create a Spring Boot application, and I am using a database, and I am using a production grade database migration tool, and I am having an application that I don't need any prior setup. Anybody can simply clone this application and run it right away, because we are using test containers, and all this setup is already taken care. And do you need metrics, right? Let's see. Do we have metrics? Let's configure some metric support. Now we can say web dot exposure include start. This is to expose all the actuator endpoints. I'm going to simply restart this, and let's see what we get. So right now we have only this. Is it application started? Management export exclude. No. Oh God. Sorry. During demos, you know how it goes. So now you can see a whole bunch of endpoints. If you want to know what are all the beans you have already configured, you can go and see Spring Boot takes care of creating whole infrastructure. You don't need to configure that much. And you want to see how is health, your system is up, and you want to see like what is the environment your application is running. You can see all your environment details, and you can dynamically change logger levels, and you want to capture what is the various metrics of how much memory it is taken by your JVM and things like that. Like let's say JVM, GC, whatever the metric that you want to see, you can go ahead and then see it. Okay, you can see how much memory it is taking and all these things. You have the metrics, and you have configuration, like if you want to configure anything for your particular application, you can simply provide it and then bind it, and you have logging already configured. So this is how modern Java application development looks like. I mean, I'm just demonstrating using Spring Boot, but it is kind of a very similar experience whether you use Quarkus or Micronaut. Most of them perform in the similar way. So how much time it take? Like maybe people keep saying that. Uh, okay, here team origin. Okay, I'll explain. Is anyone not seeing my screen? Okay. Why we need to share? I'm sharing the entire present entire screen. I don't know whether it is going to be okay. Now can you see my screen? Is it okay? So I'm sorry. Like I don't know how to keep track of these two things. Here, mm, I was demonstrating like once you enable your actuator endpoint, you can see all of your actuator endpoints, and you can see metrics. These are all the metrics that you can monitor. Like if you want to see what is the minimum JDBC connections, you can see all these details. So you have the metrics ready, okay, and you have logging, you have application configuration. So the thing is, with minimal, I mean, just it is 10 minutes of task to set up a production grade application, be it Spring Boot, Micronaut, or whatever language. And another, some tools that I would like you to explore is SDK Man. Like you might see oh my god, I need to install Java and I don't know which one to pick, and do we need to configure Java home and etc. etc. I would recommend you to install SDK Man, and then it will provide a very simplistic approach to configure Java, whichever version you want to use. So here it provides you various options. You want to use Java 8, or you want to use Java 11, 17, 20, whatever. So it is very easy to install whichever you want to use. Okay, so this is how the modern application development looks like. So I'm going to stop sharing the screen now. Okay, I have been talking for a while without seeing the comments. So yeah, so basically I want you to understand that when people say Java is not relevant or Java is legacy or whatever, listen, but evaluate yourself. Don't just take it for granted. Java is not the same as it was back in 2003, right? It evolved quite a lot, and it is absolutely an amazing language to use. And try it yourself. Like there are absolutely so many materials and so many blogs and videos that you can learn how to use Java effectively. So just try it out. So yeah, that's all I want to share. And again, one more thing I would like to really stress. I would recommend even learning other languages. If you are learning Java, wonderful. But I would also recommend to learn other languages like Python or Node.js or Go language. Learn all of them. The reason I am recommending you to learn other languages is once you go on experiment with other language, then you might realize that okay, I was thinking so and so feature in Java is not so great, but you may realize that is much better than some features in other languages. This is my personal experience. Okay, so experiment with multiple languages and you might find Java much more appealing than some other languages in some areas. And again, the goal of this talk is not to say some other languages is not good, Java is best for everything. No, I'm not definitely saying that Java is best for everything. Today, if I want to build some CLI tool, I definitely go for Go language. That is best tool for building CLI applications. If I want to build something quickly with CRUD operations or something, I might go with Django. Recently, I played with Django. I really liked it, and it's just a CRUD application. I would definitely go for Django than building all it in Java or Go language. So what I'm saying is there is no one size fits all solutions. You need to figure out which one is right for your particular language, and always remember it is not just the language; it's the ecosystem that is really important for you to be productive. So, in my opinion, Java has one of the best ecosystem, and which is making you super productive. So experiment, try yourself, and then see how good or bad it is, and take your call. It shouldn't be like someone saying that so and so is great, you should use it. So that is all I want to say. I want to just quickly go through the comments, and then just I'm going to address if there are any questions. Can you also comment on reactive programming? So somebody asking, I myself do not do much of a reactive programming, but I've always felt it's very difficult to properly implement reactive programming considering so many libraries have been created without reactivity in mind. Now you bring reactive programming combined with non-reactive libraries. I don't think it fits really well. And even considering we are going to get virtual threads very soon, I'm just predicting. I'm not a future reader or anything. I'm just predicting reactive programming might not be as popular as it is. Yeah, that's my opinion. I don't have much of hands-on experience with reactive programming. Is it a niche topic? Kind of generic, I would say. Okay. Kotlin, another interesting Kotlin. I also really like Kotlin. If today I have to pick up a language, I mean, if I have a team who is interested to learn, it is a smooth transition from Java to Kotlin because Kotlin has a great compatibility with Java libraries. You can right away start using any Java libraries, and in my opinion, Kotlin has some mm, benefits over Java, but as and when it is kind of a good, but it depends. Like, do you need all the good things that are there in Kotlin for your application? Because nothing comes for free. You are bringing in a something new, be it a language, be it a framework or library. There is going to be a little bit cost. You might educate your development team, or you might need to adapt to the Kotlin mindset. So it's going to be a little bit of learning curve, and if it justifies the cost, I would say Kotlin is a fantastic language to use. But I wouldn't say the same thing for Scala. I have a little bit of different opinion when it comes to Scala. Back in 2010 timeframes, everyone else was crazy about migrating from Java to Kotlin, Java to Scala. And then later few years, I see they are not very happy. I mean, Scala might be a great language, but that's not for everyone, I would say simply. So Java ecosystem is top notch. The biggest can is just managing the JVM, but with generalized GC in JDK 21 sounds perfect. Nice. Don't just Judge a book by its cover and don't judge a programming language by hello world program. Absolutely. Listen to how people worrying about Java's future are actually stuck in Java's past. Very funny and very true also. Uh, I mean, it is growing, and I think in the next week we are going to get Java 21. It is definitely not dead. It is growing. Bazel is also nice. I only know that Bazel is from Google. I never have used it, but yeah, tools, more tools, more options, but not too many. That's good. I mean, as I shown in one of the slide, Python has kind of a eight. So this virtual environment tools. As a beginner, it's always pain to see which is actually useful, which is having a future. So, and Matt just bring up a very important point. I think that part of the reason is that companies try to minimize risk by choosing established technologies and languages, and Java is super mature and stable, 100%. Yeah, this is dead, that is dead. These are like trying to trying to attract people. Somehow these days people attract to negative things more. I mean, if you create a post that says Java 21 has these nice features, I mean, few people read. But if you write with Java 21, Go is dead. With Java 21, Rust is dead. Something like that. If you put some controversial things, more people are interested, and some people use that for their advantage. So yeah, I don't really think this is dead, that is dead. That's all not very appropriate marketing stance. Okay, I think uh, we are more than it is 1 hour. If there are any more things that you want to talk about, please go ahead and add as a comment to this video, and probably I will make another live stream talking about those topics. Okay, cool. Uh, Thanks a lot, guys, for joining, and it is nice sharing my thoughts around Java and what I feel and the future of Java. I hope you find this interesting, and if you have any suggestions or if you want to talk any particular topic more, please comment on the video. Probably I can plan for a next video. Cool. Yeah. Why? Kotlin, Java is dead since Kotlin was released. I was just saying that nothing is dead. Cool. Then. See you. Bye bye.